It's nice to see you again, Westchester. It is Friday, October 17th, 2025, and I'm Benita Ties with the Westchester Chronicle. This week's Borough Council work session and voting session were jam-packed with people attending for many different reasons, meaning that there is a lot going on right now. From a proposed remedy to the student housing crisis, the BID's 5-year plan, parking fees for special events, the proposed 2026 budget, we want to make sure we give each topic its due diligence as they do affect the borough. So today we're going to go over the discussion for the recently released plans for the University Campus District on South High Street. At last week's Smart Growth meeting, Brian Nagel, on behalf of Westchester University, presented a plan for new campus housing to replace the structures currently standing at the corner of South High Street and Rosedale Avenue. The plans would require amendments to the borough's zoning ordinances, allowing for the creation of a new planned university district, as the current area is a part of the Neighborhood Conservation District. This came as a surprise to residents as the proposed addition was not a part of Westchester University's master plan that provided the framework for the next 10 years. The plans brought varied responses from the Borough Council, who have struggled with working with the university in the past.
I think the project is important. We need the extra beds. I don't know if 400 is the right number, but it's already used as a campus housing. And I think overall it would be an improvement. I'd like to see it, but there are concerns relative to parking, pedestrian traffic. I think are the two biggest items on the list for me.
I think that the entrance to Westchester from South High Street is really important and would be significantly beautified if you went ahead with this. However, sitting up here on council and hearing how frequently the council is disappointed by your lack of funding of whatever projects we are trying to move forward, and how you are not a tax-paying parcel, and we're in litigation with you over various issues. I want to use this opportunity. We're going to possibly do you a huge favor. I want to hear what you will do for us. I want to help fund the ambulance. I want to help fund the library. I want to help fund more of these things, and I want your assistance in doing these things. And I want to see this project go through. So
I watched the Smart Growth meeting. I thought some of the residents from Ward 4 made really good points about this being in a neighborhood conservation district. It's called a neighborhood conservation district for a reason. We're trying to conserve the neighborhood. This doesn't necessarily do that. I'm concerned about the size. I like the look. I got to say, it's a beautiful building, well designed. And I know its intention. I worry about the density that's already in that area. I've been sending pictures to Ramsey and Lisa Dorsey daily about the parking shortages that are just 4 blocks north of this building. Can't park there as residents. 91 spots or whatever it was is very deficient. There's no way that this solves any problems that we currently have in the neighborhood. In fact, it'll amplify them.
Mr. Travis, thank you. I just want to make one clarification. The total number of parking spaces proposed is 210. It's just 91 are on site, and then there's additional designated spaces proposed nearby.
In 2022, Westchester University announced the largest incoming freshman class. 2023, same thing again. You did it before. In 2021, it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The issue with that, it led to a shortage of promised on-campus housing that led to protests in the fall of 2023 that you're all familiar with. Why is it Westchester taxpayers always have to solve the university's problem? You could build on the super block. You could always build up. You have room down in South Campus. You could build there. Mr. Nagel, I agreed with you on the majority of the projects you came to Borough Council. You know where I stand on economic development, but not at the price of the taxpayer. 8.5% of ambulance calls are on the university campus. $25,000. We got nothing for it. So I have to propose an ambulance tax to cover that, to cover the remaining of the borough because of that. It seems that you all keep taking and taking and taking, but you don't want to give. When you talked about parking, you told Mr. Travis, and this was, place semantics, they could park somewhere else. So that not only is, to me, I think wrong, but it also violates our own ordinance when it comes to housing and parking and apartments. So we're making so many of these, I'm going to call them gifts to Westchester University, and we get nothing in return.
I just want to say that to say we do nothing, I'm sure that was semantics, because there is an economic impact that the university has on the borough by our students and our employees spending in the community. We do a lot of volunteer work for Westchester University. We actually pay students to work in local businesses so that they can help solve problems through the office of where Julie Dietrich works. We do give money to the borough for the overtime with police. I don't want to go back and forth. I just want to make the statement known that to say we do nothing. Now, in fact, I just got an email from Ms. Simone today to ask us to have a conversation about the Good Fellowship proposal. And I wrote back and said, we certainly need to have that conversation. Didn't know it was going to be on this today, but regardless of that, we already had that conversation. And it's not about a quid pro quo. It is about we are also members of the community. So I just want to state on record to say we do nothing. And again, that might be semantics, I think is far from what we do, because we do contribute to the community in many ways, and we will continue to do that because we want to be good partners. We may not be able to give everything people want, but you can best believe from this university's perspective and our current administration, we do want to reach out. We do want to be involved. We do want to partner with this borough.
Just make sure council understands that your decision on a zoning, whether you choose to change zoning to allow development, has to stand alone from a planning perspective. It cannot be tied to what they're going to give you as far as EMS contributions or what they're going to do about paying for. That is absolutely not allowed. It's contract zoning. You cannot do that. It's unlawful. So please make sure your planning decisions are based on planning and zoning and not what fees you want to have the university pay. I understand the concern. I think it's relevant. I think it's another conversation, but it cannot be tied to a zoning decision.
I live in Ward 4. I'm looking at this many moons ago. I won't say exactly how many. When I was a mere student at Westchester University, I visited my friends who lived in College Arms. And, they were students, grad students. I forget what they were at that point in time. But still, it's been student housing for too many moons. I also do know that I've talked to a couple of people, one that lives in Ward 4 who was here earlier tonight, but unfortunately, as the meeting's gone on for a while, had to go home, who lives in Ward 4 has had a very positive response to the development and the idea behind it. I think also Mike Reese, who was here last week, also has a positive response. I think he's giving you feedback about things that he would change, but overall it's a positive response. I've talked to neighbors in Westchester, in the borough that aren't in Ward 4, also when they heard about this had a very positive response. So you're going to get hit with responses from both angles. It's not all negative. I think there is positive impact to the community, and there are community members that are going to see this as a positive response to a building that has been housing students for many, many years and is falling apart.
I also want to acknowledge the effort that the university has made with this new administration in building a partnership. Been on council for 5.5 years. Have not seen this level of engagement and willingness to have conversations and partnerships. So I want to acknowledge the administration's willingness and desire, it feels genuine desire to, have these conversations and partner with the borough, so that we can build a better community. But, moving the community, moving the borough and the university forward.
Residents then came to express their own concerns about potentially losing another part of their neighborhood to campus housing, while the borough is already struggling with its own housing crisis.
That College Arms is not part of the campus. I know they consider it part of the campus because they stealthily, one by one, bought all the buildings. And I even challenged when Mr. Perrone was in the planning department that those were dormitories in College Arms. But our council apparently said, or whoever at that time, was that they were apartments. And you may have visited, yes, Nicole, you may have visited students, graduate students, et cetera, in those apartments, but there were actual neighbors who also lived in those apartments before they were bought by the university. There's a little house tucked in there that now has a university sign on it. So go down, make sure you take a look at it. It's a beautiful little house. We have in this borough a housing problem. And the 4th Ward is the most affordable housing that we have, as well as parts of the 2nd Ward. That is where our affordable housing is. So because they need housing, we give up what we need to support our people who work in our restaurants and stuff and have to live there.
If you, in your discretion, increase the campus size to put a campus housing here, a green space, and then South Walnut there, you will take the park from the residents. It will become a place for college kids to hang out. And again, they deserve some space to hang out. But so do my kids, and I pay taxes for it.
Several Westchester University students also came to share their struggles with accessing housing as a student in Westchester.
I'm sure there's been many, many people before me and before us that have asked for change. And I know that obviously this is going to be a very long process and probably something that I will not see as a student in Westchester. One of the issues that I'd like to see change in is the building codes. There's currently a height restriction on buildings in Westchester, and not allowing for that upward expansion has kind of limited the university and their availability of on-campus housing.
I personally would love to stay on campus for 4 years. I love the campus. I love the people. I love the community. But that's not an option for what I've heard. Freshmen are the only people that have somewhat of a guarantee to live on campus. We are lacking housing so much that sophomores, juniors, not guaranteed. And we are pushed adamantly. I'm in a freshman experience class, and they are very furiously warning us to apply for housing now for next year because there is no housing. Again, I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I came here because it's a beautiful town, a beautiful community. I mean, I walk through the streets and it's so warm and so welcoming. And I wouldn't be able to go here. I can't commute. If I don't find housing, I can't go to school here.
Westchester University will be hosting a meeting for members of the community to share their comments and concerns regarding the proposal. It is being held on Thursday the 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at the Phillips Memorial Building on 700 South High Street. You can watch the meetings and read the proposal by clicking the link in the description below. As always, we want to thank you for your time, and we hope to see you soon. Until then, I'm Benita Ties with the Westchester Chronicle.